Now, there's a lot of hype around this. I said it was a marketing phrase, and it has generated hype. So I want people to understand this probably doesn't refer to the smart fridge that figures out when your milk is expired. Turns out your nose still works reasonably well for solving that problem. It's probably not your washer and dryer having a long conversation with your thermostat. Maybe about the weather. I don't know what they're going to talk about exactly. I'm pretty sure it's not video conferencing for your dogs, or Fitbits for your dogs, and yet people are trying to make that. On the other hand, look at these shoe tags. I actually bought these. They cost less than 10 bucks. They're the size of a watch battery. They last for a year on that battery. And you can do basic computing and networking in them at this low price and small size and long lifetime. I bought them not for my shoes, but for my cat. There is a law that says every cat has to be on the internet. I'm sure you're familiar with that rule here. Industrial applications are actually where the money's already being made. Here are sensors that measure everything that goes into a tank and what's going into a tank. Understand that every industrial process, every process in your factories and so on will, in the coming decade, be instrumented. You will know where everything is and what everything is doing, and it's going to be inexpensive. Plan for that, because if you don't, your competitor will be planning for it, and they will have a more effective process line, more effective industrial activity. These sensors measure gases coming out of land in a landfill, for example. The biggest dollar value, in fact, will be in the supply chain for the early days. Now, the supply chain isn't the sexy stuff we like to talk about at Singularity University. I apologize to those of you in the room in supply chain management, but it's so sexy that this is the best clip art I could find on the web to represent supply chain management. They don't make fancy animations and graphics to represent it, but it will become just a little bit more efficient, and that's going to mean billions of dollars for companies involved. When it comes to trying to make a big change, I look for things that actually affect people's lives. The Apple Watch, so far the jury's a bit out on that. The Fitbit got a big IPO, but a lot of people stopped wearing it after a while. When it comes to these health applications, we're still looking for the killer app. Killer app may be the wrong term for health applications, so forget I said that. If you're actually sick, though, there can be something to make a difference. This is a pill bottle cap, which can tell whether you've taken the pills off, taken the cap off, and whether you've taken the pills. That can be told to your doctor or to you. And if you have an illness that needs the pills, that could mean a real thing for you. But what's important to remember here is people are starting to think about technology that's so cheap they can put it in a pill bottle cap or even put it in a light bulb. This light bulb changes color as the day goes on. I don't know if that changes your life, but again, think about when technology is so cheap that computers and networking are showing up in light bulbs and pill bottle caps, in cups of coffee. That's what's going to change your business and how things instrument into the future. Intel, by the way, in fact, Hod showed this chip, but I like it as a visualization of Moore's Law. Intel makes all the chips in your laptops and desktops, but they missed the boat, actually, on the small computing, until they came out with this processor, which, as you can see, is another one of those early supercomputers now fitting inside a camera memory card. Their first application for this was a baby jumper, and the baby jumper can let parents finally go out on a date after how many years, I don't know when you're finally allowed to have a date after a baby is born, but still be helicopter parents hovering over the baby and wondering what the baby is doing. Now, it doesn't actually tell you if the diaper needs changing. In their research, they found that babies come with a built-in audible alert system, which reveals when the diaper needs changing. Don't ignore the audible alert, by the way, because there's a chemical alert that goes off shortly thereafter, and you don't want to get involved with that. That didn't stop this guy, though, from making a diaper that actually does detect whether the diaper needs changing, and that's how cheap this technology has gotten. Here's a piece of advice, though, as you try and integrate all this cheap technology into your processes. This is a Google server room, and Google did something amazing when they were building their company. They were trying to build servers, and they didn't have a lot of money. So instead of the conventional wisdom of buying the top-grade equipment and the enterprise-grade disk drives and servers, they did something else. They bought the absolute cheapest crap they could get their hands on. Right? They put them on racks on wooden boards with bricks holding them up. That's how they built their server rooms. But instead, they designed it to expect that these cheap components would fail. By the way, the expensive components also fail, just less often. And so they said it doesn't matter whether or not it fails or how often it fails if we design it for the redundancy to survive. So when equipment in Google server rooms fails, nothing happens. It doesn't even hiccup. If Google goes down, that's on the front page of the newspapers. That's how reliable their servers are. And all that happens is a guy goes out once a week with a truck, with a little hand truck, and he slots in the new disk drives and the new boards that need replacing because the system withstood it. This is the lesson when things get really cheap. Don't try and then use it to get really high reliability stuff that's still not perfect. Use the cheap stuff and more than one of it. Be redundant so that it can fail and so that you survive those failures without a hiccup. That is how you will provide the best processes to your customers, and it's an interesting lesson Google has taught us.